Hey guys, what's going on? Today's video we are going over the newest card into the game, and that is Cull Obsidian, and he is immediately up there as one of the better 4-drops in the game. His stat line is great, and it's very easy to trigger his ability to make him playable. Obviously he fits great in Thanos lists, but he fits in a lot of good lists as well that are not Thanos based, so I wanted to get this video out there, show you this deck. It's winning at over 60%, and it focuses on using the classic combination of Shuri, Taskmaster, and Red Skull, but with the addition of your Skaar into the game now, you have a bunch of options that you can get out earlier with Cull Obsidian, Typhoid Mary, Atuma, ramped out that are going to get your Skaar down to a low cost, and there's a lot of fun stuff you can do and produce a lot of late game power. So without further ado, let us get into our 4-piece value deck. And first off, it's no shock to anybody, we have a deck that is targeting 4 cost cards. So we have Zabu in the list. He's obviously been extremely good for a long time at this point, and the reasoning is no different in any other list that he's in. He can reduce the cost of multiple 4-drops in your deck and can make you have 2 4-drops on turn 6 potentially, get something out earlier, like your Typhoid Mary or your Shuri, even if you want to do a quicker combo out, get the Cull Obsidian out earlier. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with Zabu in this deck, and he's obviously just a must-have in a lot of decks that you're going to have a lot of 4 costs in, just because of the sheer value he creates. And I have Armor as a must-have simply because we're not running Kyra in this list, and you do have a few things that can be targeted by Shang-Chi or even Killmonger or whatever could destroy your 1 costs. So I think Armor has good value as a 2 energy card, slots very well into this deck, and because we're not running a lot of 6-drops besides Skaar, and we're running cards like Red Skull and Taskmaster that Kyra is not going to protect, I favor Armor over her. And I'm running the Sauron based list to get rid of all the negative ongoing effects that cards like Red Skull and Typhoid Mary are producing, because I think it's an extremely valuable and underrated effect in this game, and it really helps bolster the power that Red Skull and Typhoid Mary are going to produce. And it's extremely helpful in getting your Skaar out earlier as well if you have a silenced Typhoid that's not taking away the 10 power from your Cull Obsidian, for example. And it also allows you to have Ebony Maw in your deck list, and he can be played on turn 6 in combination with a Taskmaster or a Red Skull, and you're not stuck with him dead in your hand. And I have Shuri as a must-have because she can just produce just an immense amount of power potentially. Even on turn 6, if you have a bunch of cards out that have your 10 power, your Skaar could be 2 or even 0, and you can just get a 4 energy 22 power card, which is a huge swing. And obviously the classic combination of Red Skull, Shuri on turn 4, Red Skull on turn 5, Taskmaster on turn 6 is always gonna be danger in the game, and it works well still. And Shang-Chi, just quickly to go over him, he's the best card at getting rid of power in the game, and there's just so much power in the game right now. You need to have him in the list. You're running Zabu, so he gets reduced. You need to have Shang-Chi. And the newest card to the game, Cull Obsidian, is a must-have. 1, because this is a deck highlighting him, but 2, he has so much value at the 4 energy, 10 power. He works so well for your reduction of Skaar. He works well in combination with any amount of 1-drops. You don't even have to have a ton of your deck for him to be effective, like in a Thanos list, due to the fact you can just play him after you play a 1-drop on the same turn. So for example, on turn 5, you have a bad hand, you could just play 0 in a lane and then just play Cull Obsidian, and you have 13 power right there. He's extremely good on that aspect, so he's going to be a must include in a ton of decks going forward, I would assume. And obviously if you're playing Shuri, you're probably playing Taskmaster, and he's got a ton of good targets in this list, so there's a ton of potential plays you can have to set up a pretty large Taskmaster, and even in some cases, the worst case you don't have a Shuri, you can still get a 14 power from a Red Skull, 11 power from Skaar that was reduced, or 10 power from Cull Obsidian or one of your other 4 energy cards. And Red Skull is a must-have because he works extremely well, as people know, with Shuri. He creates 28 power, which is an immense amount. But he also works really well in this list because we are running a lot of the time Sauron and Zero, so we have great ways to cancel out his negative ongoing effects. So he's going to consistently not have the negative aspect to him, and you're going to be able to take advantage of his great power. And our final must-have is Skaar because of his reduction ability with 10 power cards. Obviously, we're running a ton of them, and with the addition of Cull Obsidian as a extremely good 4/10 to come out, you're going to have a lot of consistency with getting your Skaar out for 2, even 0 power. So he's going to have great value that way. And as I was saying earlier, he can even be comboed consistently pretty well on turn 6 with Shuri, and you can put into a lane that you really didn't have much 22 power, 23 technically with Shuri, just like that. And moving on to the flex card, you'll notice the flex slots in this list for myself are pretty much just the 1 and the 4 costs. And obviously, you're running 1 cost in this deck for Cull Obsidian, so you can try to play around and choose your best ones you want. And the 4 drops that I've been playing in this list, besides Shang-Chi, are the good value ones that are having the 10 power that help reduce your Skaar. So that's what I went on my basis of my flex cards. But starting off, we have Nebula. Nebula is just a consistently good control card. She works well if you need to throw. You can throw armor on her and you can kind of just leave that lane alone and try to make your opponent do a lot there. And then maybe use Shuri Red Skull in that lane and win it anyways with him clogging it. So Nebula always has consistent value as a 1-drop. And next up, we're running Zero in my main list because he is, 1, he's got a pretty good stat line at 1/3, and 2, he works extremely well. We have a lot of terrible cards with like negative effects in our list, bad ongoing abilities, etc. And he works well if you haven't drawn your Sauron, so you can play him early if you have Ebony Maw in your hand, but he works better if you're saving him late. And if you're playing Atuma, obviously he works well for Atuma if you don't have armor out. So he has good value, pretty decent stats. So I found him more consistent, and I'm definitely playing him in my lists. And my final 1-cost flex is Ebony Maw. He has an incredible stat line at 1/7, obviously. And we are running a ton of stuff in this list that makes him pretty consistent in being played in terms of your Zero and your Sauron. And you can make for unexpected plays on turn 6 with your turn, like you have 5 energy cards like Red Skull or Taskmaster, and you can still combo out Ebony Maw. Or if you need to and you have Zero early, you can get him out early into a lane that you might not be able to get into later. So he works extremely well and has a ton of value. So right now I've been playing Ebony Maw in a bunch of my lists. And I'm going to combo our last 2 cards in the flex position together as the 4 energy 10 power slot with Atuma and Typhoid Mary. I think it's kind of really what you are feeling out and how you've customized the list in your way, which one you're going to keep in the list. Personally, I've been keeping Typhoid Mary in the list because I'm running the Sauron variant, so I know she's going to get silenced at some point by Sauron if I get lucky enough to draw him and play him. And I have also the Zero to play out and potentially silence her that way. Now, she does have the unfortunate ability of taking away 1 power everywhere, which if you don't get to silence her, she can take your 10 power away from your other cards, so that's why maybe you don't want to play her. And Atuma works well with Zero and armor, and obviously he doesn't get affected by Sauron, so he's a little less consistent in my opinion, so that's why I've been leaning more towards Typhoid Mary in my last 4/10. So guys, that was a quick overview of the 4/4 value type list that combos pretty well with the new card, Cull Obsidian. Get a lot of power for not a lot of cost, and it really allows you to take advantage and win lanes. And if you're aggressive with snapping, you can probably get people to run away, retreat fast, and you can consistently get yourself 2 cubes a game and climb rank pretty fast. And quickly before we get into a little bit of our infinite gameplay, I want to remind everybody to like, comment, and subscribe because there's over 95% of you who are watching this channel who are not subscribed. If you could just hit that button, it would really help me out a lot. I appreciate it. But with that being said, let us move on to the infinite gameplay. First up, we got here Guderian, and getting Zabu in an opening hand is something you're never going to want to complain about. It's a little clunky starting, so Zabu definitely helps us there. We're never going to win a White Hot Room in this deck, so I'm not going to really play to win that. Asgard is something we can win and get the card draw, which will be nice. And I think I'm going to snap into Zabu, into probably Typhoid here. He's going for Asgard as well. He's playing a multiple man move deck. And New York is a terrible third location reveal for us. And that's... we're still gonna have to play for the win here. But I'm gonna play Typhoid in the right lane here. Play 0 Cull Obsidian mid next. Yeah, okay, we're going against a Phoenix Force deck. This is a bad hand for us. And we're going to go ahead and do the plan with the 0 into the Cull Obsidian. If you didn't know, this combination is crazy that you can just play the 1 cost and it still counts. Nutty thing that they allow you to do. So you're always going to be able to get Cull Obsidian value even if you don't have a 1-drop on the board. Absolutely insane that's how the card works. And Human Torches, which is not really going to do enough, but obviously he can move his Human Torch, and we are not going to be able to deal with that. I think my play is probably going to be to throw down Red Skull on New York to get Skaar cheap so I can Shuri Skaar next turn. And he's going to Nimrod. Okay. It's quite the deck list he's working with here. I think the play is going to be Shuri Skaar left and all in on our right. Let's see what he goes with. He Nimrods. Into an Arnim Zola. That's not going to be enough power for him to fight me, so that's an easy first victory right there. And next up we have Sticky Eye 112, and we got the newest featured location Sanctuary 2 to start off. Give us a nice Infinity Stone, and unfortunately for us we got one that is irrelevant, so we're just going to throw it out. And unfortunately for us, he got that. He's playing a Thanos list too. That is great. We're gonna go ahead and throw our armor down into the... We're gonna go ahead and throw it into the right lane, even though it's unknown. I don't really care about keeping the Power Stone alive. And it's going to be hard for me to win Mojo World. And Xandar doesn't really do anything for us. I'm not playing Ebony Maw here, so we're just going to have to hope our Shuri Red Skull Taskmaster combo is going to be enough to win this game. It all depends on this. Second Mind Stone, an impossible feat to beat, honestly. This game is over before it even started. Yep, and we're out of there. Next up we have Chainbreaker. And the 0 armor opening is not bad. Great Portal is a pretty good card for us with our Skaar in our deck. And unfortunately, that is a terrible pull. About what I would expect. And he has a Quinjet for his Great Portal card. Very bad start to the game for us here. We're just going to throw armor down mid here. And unless we draw Sauron, that sets up our 0 Ebony Mob pretty nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead and 0 Ebony Maw. This will give enough turns for Ebony Maw to get to 10 power to reduce our Skaar as well, which will be nice. That is not an ideal draw, unfortunately. But we're going to go ahead and play Typhoid here. Even though it reduces our Ebony Maw down, it's going to get our Skaar down to 4 for when it increases to 5. So it should work out nicely for us either way. And She-Hulk is bad for us. That was a... Now this is a pretty good setup turn for Skaar. I don't want him to just have Professor X and win in the middle lane, so I'm going to throw Skaar middle. I know he can't destroy it. It's going to get buffed up. It gives us a few options on our last turn, whether we Taskmaster or Red Skull. And he's thinking about it. There's a Zabu into a Nightcrawler. Interesting turn there. And now we have a decision whether we want to give him enough power or not. I think we're just gonna go with our gut and throw the Red Skull left lane here. 14 power is a lot, 16 total power. And he goes with his own Skaar, and that is not going to be enough. It's not very great power calculation in the middle lane there, but we will take that. And finally we got Nimruk, and Fisk Tower is a pretty relevant location for us if we're going to go up against a Magneto deck. We have a lot of 3 and 4 costs, so I need to strategically play into that if I think I'm going to go against a Magneto. But I think we're going to be fine here. Although, I say that we're going to be fine, but this opening hand is not bad. A Sauron draw here would be extremely nice. Oh, ask and you shall receive. So I'm going to just throw Sauron down into the Fisk Tower. Oh, that's terrible for us. Luckily, we'll be able to play Typhoid right in there and get 20 power. Right in there. We're playing a nice, so we know a Nihilus is coming our way right now. Do I want to do something about it is the question. He can only send 1 Void over, so there's going to be 10 power. Good. Shang-Chi right now, guaranteed. I think we are going to do that. So I know Nihilus is coming here. Oh, surprise, surprise. And what does he have to play? Not a ton, so I think we're going to go ahead. Does he expect to win with 28 power there? Maybe? It's a pretty good play on the last turn here. Oh my god, and he thinks he's going to get me with the Galactus, but the Ebony Maw is going to come in absolutely clutch to win us the game here. Very unfortunate for him. So there you go. It pays to have very strong stat 1 cost in your deck.